bit on how you absolutely rocked the last couple team cups.
All right, you good for me?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, most of you, I've seen you from Hillary's page, but a lot of your faces, I don't know a lot of you. So I'll just kind of give you a little background, a little story on me. I started coaching about 7 months ago. And I started with a 21-day fix back in May. So I've been doing Beachbody programs for longer than I've been coaching. And I just all of a sudden decided to jump in. Heather is my coach, Heather Marco. So if you've seen her face, she is my coach. So yeah, I got started and I just dove all in, and I kind of went in with my head cut off. I didn't really know exactly what I was doing a lot of the time. But I just knew I wanted to go for it. I wanted to do it. And so it really wasn't until maybe I think September is when I finally started recruiting my own team and building my own. And I hit Success Club in the first 2 weeks of the month of September. And I had that mentality of as soon as I get to 10, I have to stop. Because if I add, and get 14 points, then what am I going to do the next month? I need to have 10 and that's it. I can't have more than that. And I had that mindset. And so in September, I got my 10 points by the middle of the month. And I thought, oh, sweet, I have 10 points. Awesome, I'm good to go. And then I had a couple new coaches starting, and so I put all my attention onto those new coaches and getting them going. And I stopped doing the behaviors that I needed to do. I was still posting on social media. I was still being present and working out and in the groups, but I wasn't inviting and I wasn't adding people to my network because I already had my 10 points. I'm I don't need to get more people into the challenge groups. I'm good. I have my 10 successful points. So then October rolled around, and October 1st, and I was like, okay, I gotta start messaging. It's October 1st. I have 0 successful points. And I'm sure you can guess, I was not successful at all. I got no after no after no after no. And all of a sudden I'm it's the 10th of October and I have no successful points. And I was like, what? What am I doing wrong? This is crazy. So I learned my lesson at that moment on, and from that second, I put my foot on the gas and I refused to let up. If I got 10 points, okay, awesome. I'm going to go and I'm going to shoot for 20. And just every time I got more points, I just kept going and I never stopped because I didn't want that to happen. And I stopped that momentum. And you hear about that a lot, that pendulum, that momentum. As soon as you stop it, then it's so much harder to get started again. And that's so true. And I realized that. And luckily for me, I realized that early on. And so I was kind of able to overcome that a little bit. And so, yeah, I just told myself, it's never going to happen again. This will not. And so I did end up still getting Success Club in October, but it was towards the way end of the month. But then in November, I hit Success Club 10 by the 5th of November. I remember that because I had so many points right at the beginning because I didn't let up. Because, you hear them say for every 10 invites you send out, one person may say yes. And so in October, I struggled because everybody was saying no. But if I had started those conversations in September, by the time that October rolled around, then I would have been getting those yeses. And so, yeah, just from that point on, I'm always messaging. I'm always sending 3 to 5 invites a day. I am always adding new people to my network. I'm making sure I'm getting 5 people every day and building those relationships. And one thing that I kind of learned and I kind of teach my team too is that just like with our exercise programs and with our nutrition, there's no quick fix. There's no quick fix to getting 10 successful points or even 5. Some of you, maybe you're focused on 5. I've just from the start, Heather told me you need 10 points. That's what you need. You need to shoot for 10. And there's no quick fix. You can't just sit down and get those 10 invites or those 10 yeses. Just you can't drop 10 pounds overnight. We know that. And so you kind of have to look at that as your Success Club points that way too. They just don't happen overnight. You have to connect with those people. A lot of times people can feel it when you are looking at them as, okay, you're my Success Club 10. You're my last 2 points of the month. They feel that. And I still struggle with that too. If I get to a point where I'm not where I want to be, I start doing that. I start thinking, okay, you're my 2 Success Club points and I need to finish out. And they can feel that. So I'm always now trying to build more relationships and do more connecting. And, when I send that initial invite, I used to send them my invite and they respond, yes, I'm interested. And I was like, okay, have you heard of the 21-day fix? Here's all the information about it. And then they would never respond to me. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, these people, they're not responding. They want information, and then I give it to them, and they don't want it, and then they don't respond. And I realized I needed to make it more of a conversation. I needed to have like 5, talks back and forth before they actually committed. So it was more of like, they would say, yes, I'm interested. And I was like, awesome. Like, tell me about yourself. Like, what health and fitness goals do you have? Do you struggle more with nutrition or exercise? And I go back and forth and I talk, and I know in the back of my head, I'm going to recommend the 21-day fix, but I want them to feel like they're kind of making that decision as to what they want to do. Do you struggle with nutrition? What do you struggle with the most? And I try to make it more of a conversation. And so we ping pong back and forth several times. And then I'll bring up the 21-day fix. And I say, oh, hey, have you heard of this? Like, this is a program I started with. And they say yes or no. And then we just keep going back and forth from there. And I just try to, whatever I want myself, what I would want to feel as a person, as a customer, as a coach, like, that's what I'm trying to give away. Like when Heather invited me, I always think back to that. Like, the way that she went about it, it didn't turn me off at all. Just the way that and like, sometimes I go back and I look at it, like, her and I had conversation back and forth, like, just back and forth. I think we probably talked like 5 or 6 times back and forth before I actually, before she sent me the link and we got going and those kind of things, because she made me feel like what I had to say was important. And, so that's important too, to make sure that, you're not, sometimes it's easy just to word vomit all over somebody and tell them too much, but try to build that connection and build a conversation and make them feel like they're important, and that they matter, and their story and their success and their reasons for wanting to join you matter as well too. The last 3 things I had just were that to be the product of the product. If you are inviting somebody to your challenge group and then they go to your Facebook and you're not working out, or you're not drinking Shakeology, or you're not being a positive person, why would they want to join you? So be somebody that they would want to join, and show that you are doing those things. The 3 vital behaviors, seriously, like, as much as inviting sometimes isn't the funnest, like, it's just what you have to do. So that inviting, your personal development, that's a big thing for me too. And I think with the Teen Cup, I know Hillary wanted me to talk a little bit about that. I think especially in February, it was personal development for me. I had a goal to read 1 book a month, and it got to February and I was still reading You Are a Badass, and I should have had that done in January. And it was a wake-up call for me. I'm like, wow, you made your New Year's resolution to work on yourself, and you couldn't even do that. You couldn't even take 10 minutes a day to work on you. And so I really pushed that for myself in February, was to work on that personal development and to make myself better. And I think that just propelled my team forward, and just constantly checking in with those members and, how are you doing? How can I help you? Trying to make them feel important too. It's a lot of that too. And just knowing that, you as a leader, you are there to help, and you have to kind of have that energy inside of you and share that with others too. And just being honest about your struggles, honest about being open and letting people see the real you, and they'll want to join you for that. If they don't like the fact that you're eating healthy, or you're drinking water, or you are exercising every day, if they don't like that, then you don't need those people in your life, and you don't want them in your life if they're going to be like that and make you feel guilty about drinking water instead of beer or whatever. Okay. So just being open and honest, and knowing that those people that do support you and are there for you will be there. So yeah, I guess, a lot of it came from me learning a lesson the hard way, and just not refusing to let that happen again, and just continuing to push forward no matter what. So, anybody have any questions or anything you want me to add, Hillary?
Something I think would be nice is, because I always share kind of my conversation guide on, how you kind of approach the subject and ways to walk through different objections. Do you have something like that you could share with us, just so people could see kind of a different approach?
Yep, I can draft one up and share.
Okay. That'd be good. I think it just helps, to see, even for me, I still enjoy seeing how other people approach different subjects, and, because sometimes you just get stuck in your ways of how you deal with questions, and it's nice to always make sure that you're refreshing your mind and keeping your mind open on better ways that things could be done. So that'd be really great if you could share it.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed too lately, and it takes a lot more time, but I was really, I don't want to say bad, but I was really dependent on copying and pasting answers and, like information about what the 21-day fix is or all this different kind of stuff. And as soon as I kind of stopped doing that and I just actually sat down and typed out a response for each person, I felt that connection happen with those people a lot more. And I can tell if I copy and paste, I can tell I don't get as great of a response back. So I feel like if I actually sit down and type, a response as to pertaining to the person, I get a little bit better feedback. I know sometimes it is just easier to copy and paste, and I still do it too. I'm not saying I don't do it anymore at all, but I just know I seem to get a better response from people when I actually take the time and effort to make a good response back to them. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for taking time to share with us. And I don't know if you guys have seen, so in the coach sneak peeks that we run, Kylie has a video of how kind of she tackles her days, and she's a really great example of someone that has amazing time management skills and has figured out really how to fit this business into the time crack. So if you haven't checked out that video, go check it out because she has some really great tips on how to stay organized. So thanks again. And now, Abby, are you online?
Oh, I think you're muted, Abby. I can see your mouth moving and like nothing coming out.
Anyway, do you need to share my screen or can I share?
Yes, let me.
And you're just a little hard to hear, Abby. I don't know if you're away from your phone. But Abby's going to share tonight about, it's been no secret she's had her ups and downs with coaching, as we all have. I mean, I think if you're feeling like this is all roses, you probably aren't doing something right. But so she's here to share with you kind of how she brought herself out of that kind of space of thinking and hit diamond within weeks of changing her mind.
Okay, yay. I made slides because they're more for me than for you guys, I guess, because I would forget what I'm doing. So, Kylie, you can go to the next slide. So you have control. Okay, just a little bit about me because some of you I don't know as well. I started with the 21-day fix back in December. Such a long time ago. I, at that point, was just looking to lose weight for my wedding, and I was rehabbing from a shoulder injury. So this is prior to me having surgery even. Since then, I've lost like 40 pounds and 20 inches, which is the most I've ever lost with anything I've ever done, and actually kept it off. So I think Hillary probably approached me for 6 months before I said yes. Does that sound about right? Maybe. And I remember just kind of think that I actually could have anything to offer as a coach. And so it took a lot for her to show me and believe in me that I could actually be a coach. So if you have anybody you've reached out to recently that's like, no, make sure you just keep following up and making those relationships, just like Kylie said with our challengers, because it was that relationship that kept me coming back to the same topic over and over and finally saying yes. You can go to the next slide. Sorry, guys. Okay. So I started coaching in April of last year. Everybody's probably overwhelmed when first start. There's just a whole lot of information. Anyway, I hit Emerald probably within, I think, 3 weeks, and I was hitting Success Club 5, if not more, each month pretty much through the summer. And even though I was doing this, I wasn't actually doing like the 3 vital behaviors. Yeah, I was working out and I was drinking Shakeology. I wasn't reading PD, and I should have been. I wasn't inviting every day. I was more so relying on, I'll share my transformation pictures every other week and people will come to me because of that, because that's how I got my first few challengers. So I think by the time I got married in July, I kind of put a pause on everything. Obviously, anybody who's gotten married knows how stressful it is. So I wasn't messaging. I was only messaging to get my 5 Success Club points every month, and my heart really wasn't in it. And this was about September. So you can go to the next one. Facebook notifications are coming up. So September I think, was the first month that I didn't hit Success Club. And I remember being like, this sucks. I don't want to do this again. And so I came back in October and hit Success Club again. And then in November, the same thing happened. And I didn't hit December, just a couple months ago. I had just lost my 2 working coaches. One had decided she needed to take more time and step away, and the other one did quit before she even started. So that kind of to me was almost my rock bottom. I remember reaching out to Hillary about the middle of the month and going, I'm done. I can't do this. Nobody wants to join me anymore. And basically placing the scapegoat on everybody else except on myself. I've been doing. Then I remember we had a team call in December. There's probably a few of you on here that were on that, where I cried embarrassingly about my why. And I think that to me was my rock bottom. That's when I realized I can't be placing blame on everybody else because I want to quit because nobody else wants to join me, when I'm not the one following through and really following those 3 vitals and being a product of the product. So you can keep going. Okay, so when the new year started, just like Kylie talked about, she set that goal to work on herself. I set a goal to kind of get myself back into the business. And I said, I'm going to hit Success Club 10 no matter what every month. And I said that was a goal I hadn't had at the beginning. And so to me, hitting that, obviously you get leads and things, but to me that shows that I'm actually putting in effort and I'm actually helping 5 people every month, which is awesome. So I was in a push group that was to Diamond by February 17th. And then my other one is just to post every day and consistently follow those 3 vital behaviors, because obviously they're the cornerstone of our business. And if they didn't work, they wouldn't be our cornerstone. So since I set those goals, I've hit Success Club the last 2 months, Success Club 10 in 12, I think, or 14 in January, I can't remember. And then I hit Diamond within like 2 weeks of setting that goal at the beginning of the year. So when I started seeing that, and I started seeing like income, and that kind of just started fueling me. And I think that that's what's helping me attract more people and really just following the whole process of everything. So I can go to my last slide. So kind of my takeaways from you, from what I've learned. The first thing is always remember just to like put yourself above all else. Obviously, everybody started their journey because they wanted to work on themselves, or you want to work in personal development, all that kind of stuff together. So when you're suffering, you're the core of your business. So if you're not going forward and working on yourself and growing and all of these things, or you're having a hard time, then that's kind of where you need to take a step back and make sure you're focusing on yourself. I kind of had that last week with the family thing, and so I kind of had to step back and just really focus on myself and what was going on before I could be there for everybody else. A second one is make sure you're setting some realistic goals and end dates for yourself, and then you're envisioning those every day, even if it's just like 2 minutes while you're drying your hair in the morning or taking a shower or whatever. And that comes with a whole mindset shift. You have to shift your mind that you're going to reach those goals, not, okay, well, I'm going to try to hit this, but if I don't, it's okay. Like actually make these real goals to you. Make it so you're going to hit Success Club no matter what, or you're going to hit it by the 10th of the month or anything like that, that you can actually put an end date on and envision yourself. It's amazing what your mind can help you do. Read your personal development and really reflect on it. I didn't do this for so long, and I wish I had. Personally, just because it's helped me, not even in the business aspect of anything, but just all around. Reading personal development is great. I know we have a personal development list in the team files, and Shalene Johnson's podcast is wonderful, so you can listen to that too. It's pretty great. Another one, shift your mindset from a team member to a team leader. We're obviously all on somebody's team on here or on the bigger picture of everything, but when you're building your business, you're the leader of that team. So you're going to have members on your team. So you need to take your focus and make sure you're leading other people to success while leading yourself and making your team successful. Make Success Club a non-negotiable. I'm pretty sure I've heard this on every single my entire life about coaching, and every time I think, yeah, but really it's honestly like you have to hit Success Club. Like just make that your goal every month, because that helps you work towards building your business more, obviously. Reach out to other coaches and ask them what works for them and what doesn't. And if you have to, stalk them if necessary. Well, remember when I first signed up, I stalked Hillary's posts, and I stalked Heather's posts, and I stalked Melanie Mitro and all those top 10 coaches, and I still do, because they're obviously up there for a reason. Like you don't just get to be number one in the country by not, or in the company, by not doing anything. So really that's a huge wealth of information that you can learn from. Be consistently consistent every day. 3 vital behaviors: working out, drinking your shake, reading your PD, messaging, inviting, adding to your network, all those things. You have to do it every day in order to, grow. And then finally, time management is huge. I know most of us work full-time jobs on top of this, or have kids, or have all these other commitments. So really just making times in the cracks of your life to get a few posts in. Like in the morning before I go to, or when I'm at school, I do my first post and check my coach office and all those things. And then at lunch, I send invites and post again and check in with people. And then at night, I check in on those invites and all those things. I found ways to fit it into my daily life so that it doesn't totally consume me, but still I'm working on my business while doing my other job as well. So that's all I have. Any questions, I guess, for Hillary? Anybody? Any more?
Well, thanks for sharing, Abby. I think it just shows, you're such an example of numerous things that we encounter in coaching. One is, you were just a rock star challenger from the beginning, and you continued to be for a long time. And hopefully it's a good example of, I knew that you had it in you to be an amazing coach and to help people see the transformation that you had. And so I was persistent, and hopefully it didn't come off as nagging.
Yeah.
But then also, just the struggles that you went through and how you pushed through it and came out the other side. And I think you touched on it, but the revelations you had were nothing earth-shattering. It was just that you have to be consistent, that you have to post, that you have to message, and do your personal development and be a product with product. It's the same things that everyone hears time and time again, but I was included in this. Sometimes it takes till the 27th time you've heard something, or the second, whatever, to really click with you. So if you guys are in that spot right now where you're like, gosh, I just don't know if this is worth it, it's so hard, it's so much time, commit to at least 6 months. I would say definitely a year, and just see what it can do for you. One thing that I try to do is every day when I'm going to bed, I think, did I do everything I could to make my business move forward? And some days the answer is no. We have priorities in life, but I try to make that answer always yes, so that I can go to bed knowing that I've put my effort in. So if I'm sitting at Success Club 2 on the 9th of the month, not that I would be doing that this month, but I know that I've been giving it my all every day, and so I have no regrets. So that's what my advice would be for you guys. So thanks, everybody. I know, again, it's precious time out of your lives every night, and I appreciate everybody that joins. Thank you, Kylie and Abby, for sharing a bit about your journeys and how you've seen success. So you guys know where to find them if you have questions for them personally, and I'm always available too. Hope you guys have an amazing night.